Check it out. So to me, that sounds a little bit too much like a ukulele. So I decided to add one little component to this to spice it up and turn it into something, in my mind, very different. Hello, my fellow Americans and beyond. This is Jake. Excited to announce that I'm dropping another track on Monday from the collaborative album that I'm currently making with the painter Jennifer Mann. So in honor of that, I figured I would let you guys in on a few studio secrets and let you know about some decisions that were made on this track and overall the broad scope of the album and why I made those decisions. So some fun studio tidbits that you might find interesting. Let's check it out. The next song is called Aquamarine, and you guys may have realized as these tracks are coming out, yes, each song is named after a rock. Very new agey indeed. And this is what we call the project map. These are the rocks we have translated thus far, and the rock we are currently working on. Okay, so as crazy as it sounds, with the rock in mind, I start from that, and I go through what I call the discovery phase, which is deciding what this song is going to be based off of the content I'm working with, which is sometimes a rock. Sometimes it's a painting from Jennifer Mann, if she sends it first. So I kind of go back into the old vaults, go through old ideas, and see if there's any idea that already points to that vibe that I kind of associate with these things. And if not, I will completely start from scratch, which has been the case many times already. So in the discovery phase, my ideas are laid out via keyboard on the Yamaha motif, which has a great pattern maker inside of it. So I can kind of see how things are going to flow and plan for the arrangement. So for example, I lay a part, and then with the click of a button, I can see how it's going to flow into the next part. Very helpful for arranging. And after the arrangement is decided upon, that rough arrangement gets transferred into the old ball and chain. Pro Tools. This is where the very grueling work starts. The final instruments are laid. And we start with drums, which I am a purist. I always use real drums on my recordings and try to get the best front-end sound as humanly possible. I won't go into detail of all of these mics and what they do, but if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. But yeah, try to get a great drum sound, and then we start laying other instruments on top of that. So we'll migrate over to what I call the flavor closet. Got all these beautiful steel string guitars, which we did not use one of them. We used the old haunted nylon string and the beautiful 32-string Reese harp, which these became my saving grace for. So I absolutely love harp. I think it's one of the most underrated instruments in the world. And one thing I do not like, however, is recording harp. Here's why. You hear all that finger noise in between, that yeah, it gets really annoying really quickly. So, to combat that, smooth as silk. So, nylon stringed instruments. That was the original texture palette that was in my mind for this track. Harp, nylon string guitar, and believe it or not, ukulele, which I'm not huge on ukulele, but check it out. So to me, that sounds a little bit too much like a ukulele. So I decided to add one little component to this to spice it up and turn it into something, in my mind, very different. This, my friends, is the home studio engineer's best friend. Foam. Not only does it surround you and deaden your room, make things sound more like they should, but it can be used on stringed instruments, bass, even guitars, even ukulele, to change the texture. So, take the studio foam, we're going to stuff it underneath the strings, right here down by the bridge. Come on, you mother... Alright, let's see what that sounds like. That's kind of fun. One little bonus instrument that slipped into this new track, Aquamarine, is the hammer dulcimer, just to balance a bit of brightness against the warmth of those nylon string instruments. And this is another secret little gem to my ears. As for the electrics, which is usually the predominant voice in many of these tracks, there's a few flavors to choose from. And I believe on this new track, the Gretsch won the verses. The LTD won all of the very bitey, heavy courses. LTD is kind of a mix between the Gretsch and the Les Paul. The Gretsch is kind of a mix between the Les Paul and the Telly. So we got a good wide array of bases covered with those. So after all the instruments are laid, I edit them, and then I sit here and I mix for days and days and days, sometimes to the point of madness. So that being said, not just me, but if any artist you care about puts out a track and you see it pop up on social media, do yourself a favor and throw on some headphones. There might be a fun sonic journey waiting for you in there. Alright, you guys, hope you enjoyed this little video, and I'll be popping in from time to time along the journey of making this record, and looking forward to sharing a new song from it with you on Monday. Peace and love.